Okay. Brenda Daniels here in Louisville, Kentucky. And everybody, you can say this with me, even though you're muted, our awesome signature message. I am part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission of protecting 2 million families and small businesses with PPLSI's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. And what we do matters, and we are looking for help. And boy, I get to say that from my heart. It just runs through my blood. So I'm excited to tee off to our one and only awesome mentor, coach, leader of our team, Success Partners International, Mr. John Drennan.
Well, thanks so much, Brenda. And you know, Brenda smartly changed the signature message to say not Legal Shield, but PPLSI's. Great job, Brenda. And some of you might wonder, what are we talking about? The name has been changed to PPLSI, and here's why. Our legal plan is called Legal Shield. Our identity theft plan is called ID Shield. We have various supplements that have different names. So PPLSI is almost like PepsiCo, and one of their products is Pepsi. We are PPLSI, one of our products is Legal Shield, and that gives us a reason, I think, to explain. I mean, today on the plane, I told the guy I'm with Legal Shield, and he said, "Oh, what's that?" If I'd have said I'm with PPLSI, he would have said, "What is that?" So you're going to get that question. So great job, Brenda. Great job, everyone who's on. I know we've got people, as we heard, in hotel rooms at airports. There are some people traveling. I made a count of the number of people who I saw there physically from our team, 35. So I'm guessing there were 40 to 45. I just literally, my counts based on people I physically saw. And then I know we had a lot of people on virtually, and some of you are on here tonight. So what we always do, and most of you know this coming out of a big event, is we want to hear from you. What we don't want you to do is try and train on a segment you heard. That's not what this is about. This is what inspired you. What was that magic moment for you? What was that thing that caused you to cry or say, "Oh my God," or jump out of your seat? I got to share a real quick one. How many of you live, show of hands, or virtual? This is any of you. How many were entertained, and hopefully not at her expense, but by the woman that won the trip to Hawaii and could not make it up the stage? She was so excited. Okay.
Megan Pearson, right?
I think that was her name. So I was 2 rows behind her when she realized it was her. Were any of you there to witness that?
She fell down.
She got up, she twirled around, she's losing control. She starts walking down the aisle, hits a chair, falls on the chairs, flops on the ground, hits her head on the cement, gets up, pirouettes, screams, bends over, gets up, lays down, gets up, makes her way, and she's going up the steps, falls on the steps. They help her up. They get her up there. They say, "You can sit down." She sits down. Then she lays down. And Don Thompson says, "Good thing she didn't win the car." So it was hilarious. That was just a moment. But that was a moment of just hilarity, a moment of gratitude to see someone win something and be so excited. 5 people. And of course, the gentleman who won the car, many in Kentucky have met him, and you know, hearing his story, the fact he won the car was just like God saying, "We're going to give him a car." So it's just amazing. Anyhow, I didn't mean to start out with all this because this is for you, but I was just getting excited by just moments from the event. And there's always countless, hundreds of moments. So here's what we're going to do. We had people live, we had people virtual. We're going to start with you who were live, because if you're there live, you not only were at the event, but maybe you have something from the Shield Nation social on Friday night. Maybe you have something from today's breakout. I was not at the breakout. I was on airplanes. Maybe you got something from the baseball game today that you stayed. Maybe you got something from being at a coffee shop and meeting associates. It's all that stuff that we call the things that happen around the event. So we're going to start with those who are live. And we want to always start with people where this was their first ever live convention. And keep in mind, you're not training, you're sharing what inspired you, what excited you, what was magical. Take a minute, maybe two. Who'd like to go first?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Lisa, introduce yourself and go ahead.
Lisa Holmes. I'm Darien, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And this was my first convention. I was supposed to be in Phoenix, but I fell down and hurt myself, so I couldn't get there. And there's so much compassion in this company, and they talk about compassion on the Zooms and on the recordings. But when you are there live and they're talking about their compassion and their care for you as a person, not for you as an associate number, as a member number, I felt so embraced and so loved, guarded, and respected. You can't get that over a Zoom. You can only get it live, and it was genuine and real. And that's my big takeaway.
And what a powerful way to start out. I mean, that compassion. And I know, Lisa, it came through being there. It came through seeing people interact on stage. Came through from when people shared stories, the tears in the room, and just so many ways. So what a great observation. By the way, any of you, if you want to put any comments in the chat as you're hearing people tonight, any amens or add to someone's comment, do that too. We want this to be really interactive and social. Was there anyone else who was there for the very first time being at a live convention?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I'm Jim Level from Kerrville, and that was my first convention. And I guess I would pretty much say the same thing with different words, but as a 75-year-old guy, I've seen a lot of seminars, a lot of webinars, and a lot of training, and a lot of stuff, and a lot of it's crap. And this was the character and the integrity just shone through. It was a breath of fresh air for someone like me who's a little older and is used to seeing this stuff but doesn't see it anymore. So that's it. It was just that it's still, the people are honest. I believe them. I trust them. And it was nice to see people who are like that running the company, and that you see a lot of stuff in the world today, and the people are talking about how much they care about their clients and how much they care about their customers, but it's not believable. This was believable.
Well, I hope everyone really took that in. As Jim said, he's been around the block. He's been in business. He's been there, done that. And that's a great insight, that here I'm part of something that's real, it's believable, it's tangible, it's got meat, so great comments, Jim. And Jim, I know I've met you before on a call, but I'm sorry I didn't actually meet you in person during the event.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll do it one day soon.
Yeah, I knew you were there. I'm sure you knew I was there. Anyhow.
There were a lot of people.
Yeah, many of you know I'm good friends with James and Kenitha Kelly in Louisville. I never saw them. We were even at the ED banquet Thursday night together, but different tables, lots of people. I never saw them. Anyhow, anyone else where this was your first live convention? Well, let's go to anyone who wants to talk, and let's do it this way. Raise your hand. You can do it physically, just so I can. Okay, Danny, I saw your hand first. Introduce yourself and fire away.
Hey, it's Danny Godin from Greeley, Colorado. And I wanted to get on to, we're going to be boarding our flight here in a minute, so I might get disconnected. But this was one of my first conventions that really touched my heart in ways that I didn't even know was possible. I've always showed up for conventions. I've never missed one. Phoenix, I was empowered, but this one, it touched my heart, and I cried probably a lot more than ever. And I really felt like the speakers were speaking to me for the first time ever. I mean, I've always felt like, oh, the speakers are speaking at me or telling me stuff. This was the first time that I really felt they were speaking directly to me. Like they were pouring their words into me, and I was like, I hear it. And the biggest takeaway that I got was I need to let go of this past year. It was a good year and a bad year at the same time, and I just need to let it go and move on. And 2022, build new in 2022, and the best is yet to come.
Well, Danny, great comments. You know, touch my heart. They were speaking directly to me. How many of you had moments where you felt like they're talking right to me? Yeah, me too. And, you know, you would think in this business, one could say, you know, we talk about the conventions, everything, you have to be there. And that one could say, well, I've been to a convention, therefore I've been vaccinated or whatever, you know, I've got it in me. But the fact is, everyone's different. We grow. So you get to have that same experience every time, but it gets deeper. It gets more affirming. It becomes more significant. And Danny, I'm looking, I sent you a text yesterday at 11:13 a.m. where I said, I think she is talking to you. And you replied, yeah, she was. It was one of the speakers where it came to me that she's talking right to Danny Godin. So, and I appreciate Danny as someone during events who oftentimes does text me with little comments like, oh, I needed that, or wow, or whatever. And that's really helpful. That helps me know where an associate is at. So, all right, safe travels, Danny. Who's next?
Penny Manning, and I am here, as you can see, in OKC with Jane Lehman. I have been looking for some kind of volunteer work that I could do that would help people out. And I had a breakthrough moment. Why am I looking? I'm a soldier in this calling to help people with injustice. What more do I need to do? If I find something to do at church, that's cool. If I find something else to do around town, that's cool. But this is my calling. This is the way I will help people. Back to you.
Well, everyone put your glasses down. Do what Brenda just did. Let's applaud Penny, because that was a breakthrough. She started out saying, I had a breakthrough. And the fact is, Penny, you're right. And people might have seen that for you in the past, but you had to see it for yourself. So awesome realization. Because yeah, it's maybe here's where people get tripped up. This is such a mission potential opportunity, but when people start realizing they're being paid, it might get lost on them that it can still be a mission. It can still be significant. In fact, the beauty of the model is the more people you help, the more you're going to help yourself. And as you help yourself, you can actually then help more people. So it's just a beautiful thing. Great, Penny. Who's next?
Linda Beck, Morris, Illinois. I really enjoyed the stories, and the stories are always a special part of this, but the stories of the legends, but mostly it's Bill Stovall, right?
Stovall.
His story was, and it made me cry. And I don't know if it was because I was there alone without Steve and what Steve and I have been going through in the last month and a half. But when he talked about reading his wife's journal before she had passed away, and seeing what she read and her beliefs in him, it was just so moving. And the whole thing, there were many things that made me cry. And I think it was because I was there alone and I'm usually there with Steve. But Annette and I felt people talking to us all the time, and we were high-fiving each other.
Well, every time I saw you guys, it was several times, you were just beaming. And you know, Linda, what you just said during Bill Stovall, I'm looking around seeing tears everywhere, but I can see where that would have been really magnified for you. So I would think you'd have needed not Kleenex, but paper towel, you know, for your tears. So wonderful comments, the stories, being touched by them. Who's next? If you were there live.
Jane Lehman, I'm still here live, and just real short, two really short things that were so important. John Gardner, they kept saying it over and over. John Gardner said, "You just aren't thinking big enough." And that kept hitting me as I watched this convention. John, I know everybody that walked across the stage. I really am not thinking big enough, have not been. Up until now, I have not been thinking big enough. And I am willing to completely transform that, no matter what. That is my goal now. And the other thing was, never leave an appointment without the next appointment. It's so simple, but many of us don't do that. Never walk away without the next action step.
Yeah, and certainly one of the action steps was registering for the leadership event. There should be zero procrastination on that. 100% be registered. And that's going to be an all virtual event. We know that. Okay, who's next?
I'll go next, and that's Elbar Gulfport, Mississippi. I took pages and almost a whole notebook of notes, but it's not so much what's in the notes, but what hit my heart. The feeling behind everything, the fact that they kept talking about, it's about our mission, over and over and over again. It started really hitting me when I watched a former attorney general introduce the current attorney general, the governor, the mayor, the insurance commissioner. I mean, these are bigwig people. And they were on our stage congratulating our company and giving accolades. And that just gives us tons and tons of credibility. And I really like the stories too, the member, I forget what they were called. Those were great. And yes, Linda and I kept saying, I think he was talking to me. And the other one would say, no, he was talking to me. And one of the people that was kind of joining us, Lori, who has sometimes come to the Shield Nation event, she was sitting with us and she packed a whole box of Kleenex and kept passing the box along the row with all the different stories. So I'm going to be sitting down tomorrow. I scheduled some time to go through my notes and make some plans. But it's really what's in my heart that got to me. Back to you.
Great comments. Heart and mission. And I love the comments in the chat, by the way. Like Jane Lehman says that Jim, who we heard from earlier, got to sit with Harold and Kathy Pinson at the baseball game today. Where else can you do that? Basically, a new associate who's sitting with the COO of a $2 billion company. Let's talk about that. And by the way, other comments. So thank you who are commenting and connected in here. Speaking of the company, you know, they did the montage of Harlan Stonecipher, the founder of the company, where he talked about we're going to become a $1 billion company. And I was there when he did that talk, when the company might have been valued at 400 to 500 million. And now we're valued at around 2 billion. So that was a chance to see how the vision is unfolding. And to me, that's set up, and it wasn't designed this way, but it's set up later when Brian Crothers said, we're only in the second inning of this. And so it gave such a big vision of, yes, what's behind us, but that the best is yet to come for this company. All right, who is next?
John, I'm going to jump in again. This is Lisa Holmes. And, we can be anybody. We can be anybody we want to be on the internet, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or whatever social media. We can be anybody we want to be with the proper editing and lighting, etc. But to be there live and to really feel the heart of this company, and they were talking to every person individually. Their message touched everyone individually, and there's nothing like being live. Zoom is a blessing. social media, it can be a blessing, but to really feel that heart is, you can't measure it. You can't quantify it.
Yeah, and anyone that's been to a live event knows that there's an energy factor that can be created to a degree on Zoom, but nothing close to being there in person. It's almost like watching the IMAX movies where they fly into the Grand Canyon. It's pretty neat, but it's nothing like if you're actually doing it. And so, and Lisa got to go twice because this was her first time. Anyone else who was there live that wants to comment?
Robert Bagley here in OKC with Carol Escher and Ted Wilson. The thing that hit me today, actually this evening, was the fact that today's daily word from Unity was adventurous. And I epitomized that by asking somebody that was way above me to mentor me, and they have agreed. So it's going to be an interesting ride. Thank you.
All right, little recommendation then that you did that, and good adventure, by the way, is whatever they mentor you on, do it. Hold yourself accountable to what they're advising. All right, wonderful. Anyone else?
Caleb Nichols, Sand Springs, Oklahoma. When I went director the first time, I don't know, I guess it's been 12 years ago now. I did it so fast. I was a director with senior associate skills, and that caused me to have a lot of failure. And the message from Darnell South on Friday to restore your trust and forgive yourself of your past mistakes and start over again with little bars of success, and teach yourself to trust yourself again. That's been huge for me this weekend.
That was a fabulous comment. Darnell took it to a whole nother level. At every level of person there, he touched them. Yeah, great comment. And Caleb made a comment that you might not have understood when he said, I made director with senior associate skills. And that's because there was a time where there was this sort of shortcut to director where you didn't need to do that much. And looking back, that was not helpful because people were hitting director with senior associate skills. And it, you know, you can't bypass aspects of the system. And in fact, when you do, it hurts you because it's hard to go back to what you bypassed. So that's a great realization there, Caleb. A lot of people need to think about that if they were in that bypass period. Anyone else who was there live? Well, I think it's time to go virtual. We've got people who are virtual, and I don't know who you are. I mean, Brenda, you were virtual, but I really don't know because I didn't see a list or anything. I couldn't see your face if you were live like I could if you were there. So who's first?
I'll kick it off, John. Brenda Daniels, Louisville, Kentucky. And I was disheartened I wasn't there. I was grateful for Zoom. Definitely could not get all the emotion that I'm hearing from everyone tonight. You stole my thunder, John, because I will never forget this convention because of that woman. And that woman reminds me of me so much because I get so excited, but I don't think I would have been as excited as she was. And I was really thinking she was going to be hyperventilating. And I think the men, you know, Darnell and Don Thompson, they were somewhat concerned. And I thought they should have been concerned because I really thought she was hyperventilating. But that just shows you how euphoric she was. And everybody needs to see that, all the associates, that was just the icing on the cake. I really appreciated the old videos of Savula, Kenmore, Wilburn Smith. And for me, going to these big events, the convention, I don't like to say this, but you never know who's not going to be there next year because we all have our ticket to go elsewhere. And so I remember being at conventions with Ken Moore when he was alive. It was great. And Savola and Harlan Stone Cipher. And I came in after, I think Wilburn Smith, had he passed before 2010, John Wilburn Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are huge. They are the founders, the icons. And so I appreciate them showing those clips. And, you know, here it is, seeing a clip of Dave Savola. If he doesn't get your blood boiling, then you must be a zombie. So yeah, it's a great convention, and I'm already planning for next year's convention. And of course, I immediately signed up for the fall, the October event. Back to you.
And Brenda, back to what you started with. Yeah, that woman had a lot of giddy up. And you're right. I remember when you won the trip to the Caribbean, that was a bit of a spectacle. We had a lot of fun. Your excitement permeated the county. And you're also correct. I could tell from their body language and so on, the guys on stage were concerned. They said, can we get a paper bag? But that was sort of a message of, and there was medical people on hand. There were a lot of doctors in that audience. So people were really tuned in to, does she really need some help here? And she might have felt the energy and then gone for an Academy Award to a degree too. I mean, we don't know. So, all right, who's next? It was virtual. Or anyone else with a comment from the event.
Carol Asher, great, still in OKC with guys. The 50th year celebration was fabulous. The stories that people told on stage were amazing. The gentleman that won that car, he told about his story. And you know, the point of these stories is to show adversity. They just didn't get a whole lot of no's. They had a whole lot of other things going on in their life that were medical. And the point was they had residual income to be able to get through the hard times and to share their experience with us. B2B Business Solutions came up with future applications that were just wonderful, out of this world, to make the business solution side much easier. And they talked about streamlining the prospect by Legal Shield and a new website for Ellis Engage is going to go bye-bye and be called something else. So it was nice to learn the updates there that are coming. And I found that the whole thing is just old friends, hugging old friends. And it was something else. Caleb came up to me and I'm going, I know this guy, but I forgot where he's from. And so we had a great chat. So everybody was so happy to see one another. Thank you, John.
Well, wonderful comments, Carol, and all of you have made really great comments. And that was a good segue. So I'm going to talk about some things. She was mentioning some things that are coming. So for those, for all of you who are on, regardless of your status regarding the event. So what's next? So first of all, go back and watch anything you missed. And certainly there's value in going back and watching things you didn't miss. As you know, we get more the second time because we've got some ground to stand on from having been there the first time hearing it. But secondly, review all the new information. So for example, if you were there physically, you got a copy of this magazine called Prosper. There used to be a magazine, Success from Home, and we were in that several times. Some of you were around. Jane, I'm sure you bought bundles of magazines, and others who have been around. And but the magazine is tangible. It's not, it doesn't replace a video or a virtual event. It's a tangible thing that people can then take home, be reminded of, share it, but don't ever put a magazine or a physical tool out there without a label that's got your name and number. I do want to share my screen and just show you a couple things to maybe speed some things up for everybody. Can someone let me know you can see?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So when you go to LS Engage, you're going to see right at the top, build new in 2022. And then it's got these two options. So this one's critical time-wise, build new in 22 this week. So you can go ahead and click on that and you can get the details. And as you see, this ends on April 18th. The fact is there's opportunities here for cash bonus for everybody. So it's all on the flyer. Here's the details. So I wanted to show you that one. And then, sorry, I got stuff popping on my screen. I got to move. And okay, let me get rid of the flyer. And then this is the bigger campaign, build new in 2022, rank advancement. And this is the one that goes through the end of May. So you can click on that. You can get all the details on that. Again, I'm on LS Engage. It comes up on a banner when you open your LS Engage. And this is taking a while to open because I'm also on Zoom here. So I'm not, well, there we go. I was going to say I'm not going to wait for it. But there's the information on that. And again, there's a lot of cash bonus at every level as there are additional bonuses being paid. And this is for advancements and at every level. Also, anyone that missed hitting bonuses in their first two qualification levels can still earn bonuses. So let's say you are a senior associate and didn't advance, or you're an associate and didn't advance in the time frame to earn the bonus, and you still haven't advanced, there's a new bonus there for you. So again, this is all on the flyers. Bear with me, I'm just looking at my notes here. Okay, so I'm going to stop my share, and there's more, but the idea is be tuned in, be on the leadership show, go see your newsletter, read it this week, look for any special emails that might come to you or texts from corporate. And I do want to make the comment, I thought the chief technology officer just did a great job talking about what's in development, what's coming. I see Linda doing this because she gets it. Whether you're in the group side or networking side, there's a lot of tech development going on that's going to enhance our members, our sellers, our team builders, our business solutions people, our attorneys, all across the board with what's coming in the tech area. And that's really huge. And then finally, focus on or do these things, focus and go. Take what you experience, focus now and go. And, you know, I love what Brian said. He said, you know, I know a lot of you are coming off a 90-day run, but given what I just showed you, given the excitement, the newness, do a 9-day run was his recommendation. And I thought that was a great recommendation. So go back through your notes, whether you're live or virtual, go back to what inspired you, go back to review content. I suggest, you know, definitely go watch that new video if you haven't seen it in Prospect. It's 50, I forget the exact name of it, but it's the first one that pops up in Prospect. That's a really great video to share because it anchors in the fact that subscriptions, we all have them. We're used to them. We actually want them. They automate our lives, and that we sell to subscriptions. And so that's a good intro to someone about one of the reasons that we're really a compelling business. So take it all in, review it, and focus and go. That's my recommendation to you. So with that, And by the way, I forgot to mention, we're not holding this call to 30 minutes, this Zoom to 30 minutes. We never know how long this is going to go, but we don't have a huge group. But I'm done talking. I did want to let you know Timmer meant to be on. He was virtual. He was going to kind of be the virtual Millionaire Club member. Annabelle got in a car accident today. She's fine, but they needed to check her at the hospital, and they're at the hospital. But he let me know she's fine, but fine could mean, you know, in the hospital, they might say, oh, you got something here with your back, or we got to do a concussion protocol. I don't know. He's going to update me, but he said he didn't think he could make it on. So I'm going to quit talking, see if anybody wants to just maybe a new idea came up, or there was a certain tool or something I left out that you just want to kind of put out there for everybody. If you think it's meaningful, anybody want to do that?
Hi, John. Steve Beck. First of all, I want to take a second, excuse me, to express my gratitude to everybody on the team that saw Linda at the convention and asked her how I was doing. Very grateful for that. Beyond that, let me see if I can get myself together. I think the thing that hit me the most, and I have to admit, I had a lot of interruptions over the last 2 days because every time it gets good, a doctor or a nurse would walk in the room. But Jeff Bell's closing statement just really touched my heart when he when he talked about channeling your passion. That really did it for me. Thank you.
Well, Steve, I'm so glad we heard from you. Thanks for your comments, and know that we love you. And people have been sending you vibes, good vibes. And I got to tell you, Linda was amazing. I saw her a lot. As I said earlier, some people I never saw, but I saw Linda several times, usually out in the, you know, going from place A to place B, or maybe in the meeting room. She was always cheerful, always connected, always tuned in. You know, I asked her about how you're doing, and she was just spot on, letting me know, and that other people were asking. And so she was all in, as I'm sure you know. So kudos to you as well, Linda. And thanks for your comments, Steve. Anybody else?
John,
All right.
Ted Wilson. John, if you got a minute, one thing that I didn't hear anybody talk about is the clip on Woody Alexander. I didn't see you sitting in the second row, but I did on the one other one. And on the breakout, we learned that retention is your pension. Think about that. Back.
That's good. What'd you say about the second row?
When Woody talked, weren't you in the second row of the
You mean second row at the event he spoke at, or second row this weekend?
No,
Wow.
second row of the event he spoke at.
Oh, I know I was up close. I have no clue if it was the second row, but I was there toward the front.
They cut out that part. They cut out that part right here.
Yeah. Yeah, those old videos, for those of us who've been around, like Ted, Jim Harkema, he was there. You know, they've been around 20 plus years, and we're there for Woody Alexander and all the Dave Savola, all those Harlan Stonecipher. That was amazing. That was really a emotional trip back in time. So, hey, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And I am going to go out to Ms. Jane Lehman, one of the co-hosts of this, along with Brenda Daniels. Jane, you got a few things, so over to you. And
yeah, well,
you.
first of all, John, the video we're showing is the one that you had mentioned, because you were the one that said you wanted us to show it. So we're about to show that. But another thing I wanted to just announce to everybody is one of the beautiful things about being here live was that I got to, in person, get people that we're going to have as guest speakers on our Zooms. So coming up in, you know, in this quarter will be Jim Harkema, Daniel Fong from California, Rob McKenzie, Don Wilson, and John Hoffman. So that was a beautiful thing to be with all of them. with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt. We'll have our video and thank you all. Bye-bye for now.